Okay, we're looking at chapter 4.8, zeros in the product. This is the last section of chapter 4. Zeros in the product is pretty easy. They start by giving you an example of something like 0.4 times 0.2. And if you take the zeros out, if you multiply both of these by 10, which is what they typically do, now you can do all of this in your head, but they're just wanting you to see what's happening. You multiply by 10 and you have 4, because 0.4 times 10 is 4 times 2. 0.2 times 10 is 2. So simple. 4 times 2 is 8. And then they want you to put the decimal back in. The problem is that when you bring it back out and you multiply by 1/10, and you back to 4, multiply by 1/10, and you get back to 0.2, then your answer has to have this plus this. So 1 plus 1 equals 2 decimal places. So you're going to put 2 decimal places in, but if you only have an 8, that means that you have to add a 0 so that you can put in 1, 2 decimal places and then throw your 0 in here at the end. So 4/10 times 2/10 is actually 8/100. And once you get used to this, you really can skip it. You don't have to multiply by 10 and multiply by 1/10. Once you get used to it, say we have 0.03 times 0.4, I'm just going to immediately go and multiply 3 times 4 equals 12. And then I have to take a look at my number of decimals. I've got 1, 2, 3 decimal places, and I have to put those back in. So I'm going to add an extra 0 so that I have 1, 2, 3 decimal places in my answer. So 3/100 times 3/4 is 12 thousandths. That's how you would read this. But you just have to make sure you get the right number of decimals, and you can just multiply 3 times 4 equals 12 and then put your decimal place in. That's really all there is to everything that we have to do in this lesson. They have something like, man, this should be really easy. You just do this over and over again. Over and over again, over and over again. So they have like 40 cents, they even put a dollar sign, times 0.1. Okay, so what's 40 times 1? 40 times 1 is 40, but because we multiplied it by 0.1, we actually have 1, 2, 3 decimal places. So we have to add a 0 and our decimal and another 0, so that it looks like that. And this could actually be written like this. And you could drop off this last 0. It's the same, because that last 0 is just a placeholder. It doesn't have any real meaning in this kind of a problem. Okay? That one's kind of crazy. What if they give you an n like 0.09 times n equals 0.063. Now this is a little harder, but again we're going to look and we're going to say 9 times something equals 63, and we're going to come up pretty quick with 7. So 9 times 7 equals 63. But now we have to kind of do something in reverse and look at our final product has 3 decimal places in it. 1, 2, 3. And so we have 1 here and 2 here, so we need to make sure that this has one more decimal place. So n isn't actually 7, n is actually 0.7, because I need 1 decimal place here to multiply. So if I rewrite this, okay, so 1, 2, 3 decimal places multiplied together gives me an answer with 3 decimal places in it. Does that make sense? And 9 times 7 is 63. So that's what we get, 63 thousandths. Okay? That's really all there is to it. I'm a little sad that your lesson has to be so short today. Make sure that you get through it, though, because we have the chapter review test and then the real test coming up. Okay? So study this, make sure you understand it, get it done.